Hi everyone. I normally run a webinar on Thursday afternoon, which you're watching to on YouTube at the moment. This one is very much focused on distance learning, and we answered a lot of questions. I normally do two webinars, one at 12:15, and one at 20 to 4, hopefully to meet kind of lunchtime and after school traffic, although everything's a bit different at the moment. What you are going to see is now two recordings. It's the same webinar, but rather than me chopping them between and trying to make one continuous one, they flowed much better as just two separate webinars. So you'll see one first one, which is about 20-25 minutes long, and then I'll cut to another one, which is about 20-25 minutes long. They are both full of questions, and they're full of some really good chat that I've had in the comments as below. So feel free to watch both and love them both and enjoy them both, or just feel free to watch one, or just email me a question underneath and I'll support you at that as well. So thank you very much for coming to this YouTube channel, and hope you enjoy the rest of it. Cheers.
Right, let's kick it off. So, big elephant in the room, we are all faced with distance learning. How can we do it? We weren't really ready for it. We've heard about flipped classrooms. We've heard about sending stuff out to homework, and it's all kind of okay. But it wasn't planned massively. It was like, we've got a week. What can we do? How can we send out something to the children so they can still be engaged, they can still be part, and they still have some learning without all panic letting loose? And want of a better word, we need to entertain them a bit whilst they're at home for the parents, whilst they could do some work as well. So mine are upstairs. I think one's on the Xbox at the moment. One might be doing a bit of homework. I've no idea, but they're all good at the moment. So distance learning, let's just see who I am to start with as well. So my name is Mark Hartwright, in case you haven't gathered already. I am a professional development specialist for Smart here in the UK. I've worked as a primary school teacher for 11 years plus. Loved it, but loved how Smart engaged the children and made me a better teacher, made the education go on better as well. And Smart Learning Suite Online, which we're going to massively focus on as well, giving the students the whole lesson so they can participate and do it self-paced, or you can do it teacher-paced as well. So we're going to focus on that. Throughout this here, feel free to leave loads of comments in the chat. I'm going to look at those afterwards as well and try and try and answer them live as well. So feel free to ask anything. If you see somebody else's comment as well that you want to answer as well, feel free to put the answers in as well, really get a community going. But afterwards, if you do want to email me any of this, feel free to do that as well. Or on Twitter, I've got that at Mark Hartwright. I thought I'd make it nice and easy. Or there's the UK Smart Connect, or the just Smart in general. There's loads of social presence, so get on that as well. Right, so today, our overall objective, I'm trying to only be 20 minutes, just so you can get on with the rest of your day as well. The stuff is up there as well if you do want to knock those on. So how can we use existing content with Smart? We've made our lessons, we were ready for this term, and then something changed. How can we use that content already, push it out to our students to make it engaging for them, wherever they are learning, distance or in the classroom, wherever. And how can we use SLSO, which is Smart Learning Suite Online, to kind of utilize that as well, both with teacher-paced and with student-paced learning. So hopefully that's what we'll cover. And if it's not, let's all go home. I'm home already. So looking at Smart Learning Suite Online. So today, let's just jump out of that. I'm going to minimize that. And you can see here, I have got my PowerPoint. Now, we all know that there is loads and loads of content available on PowerPoint because it's that universal way of pushing it to everybody. I could have done it in slides, Google-wise, or a PDF or anything like this. But you can see, generally speaking, here is my lesson. I've got session 1 on it. It starts with read a chapter. I've been doing some work with my kids this week as well. I've been looking on other social platforms as well. And a lot of it is do this and answer some questions about it. Very, very typical to what we do in the classroom. There's a bit of teaching, a bit of input, and then there's kind of reflection on it as well. So we've got here, and I've just made this one in PowerPoint. But at the moment, it is, here's something static that you're sending out to your children. Go through each one, and if it's something like this, where it's write about it, at the moment, it's very much, well, what can I do with it next? I can see it on the screen. I can either print it out and then write over it and send it back to my teacher, or I can just make notes, take a photograph of it, and send that back. That seems to be a very common way. I've seen quite a lot of that way of interacting with this teacher, and the way the teacher can mark it, a photograph of their work. So that's in PowerPoint there. What I've actually done, I've also got exactly the same file made in Smart Notebook. Now, Smart Notebook is the desktop version of Smart software. And it's very similar to PowerPoint, apart from it's a teaching and learning resource, as opposed to a PowerPoint, which is a presenting resource. So it focuses on teaching and learning. Obviously, when you're in the classroom, you've got lots and lots of things to talk about, but I'm not going to go into a huge amount of details with that, because not many people are now teaching within classrooms. But in the same way, I've got my lessons down the side here. I'm just going to come to that. So I've got my links in here. And if I go down to the side there, I've got the block boxes here. So again, very, very similar to PowerPoint. And when I want to send it out to the children, that's fine. The difference, the reason why I've decided to make it within Smart Notebook is because when I put it into the online version, all of my content gets copied across, whether that's hyperlinks, whether that's games that I've included, assessments, and all of that just gets transferred directly, as opposed to a PowerPoint. It gets put in on the online version, and you need to separately insert the hyperlinks and input the games, which is really, really easy. But it's just as a starting point, I prefer to start in Smart Notebook just because it transfers better. But either you can do. So, Smart Learning Suite online. Let's just see if we can get a few people connected here, if it's going to let me go here. Reload the page. So let's just close that one there. So let's go home. So this here is Smart Learning Suite online. Now, the same as this one, as a Smart Notebook, it's all part of Smart Learning Suite as a collective. In the Smart Learning Suite, you get Notebook, you get Smart Learning Suite online, and then inside the board as well, there's like an Android unit, and you get software with that. So it's all kind of in one within your Smart account. The online one here, and Notebook as well, is actually free. You normally get a free 45-day free trial, but now we've extended that, obviously with current circumstances, that it's a need and we want to support the community. So this is all free for you to use. The way it works is you just go to hellosmart.com. And if you are able to open a separate browser as well, we can all do this together and you can jump on this as well. So if you've got a separate browser, go to hellosmart.com and it will take you to a page. It will actually take you to a page that looks like this. And then you can sign in as a guest and put my code. Right at the top of the chat, I put that code in there so we can all join together. So I'm just going to kind of show you the end game, and then we'll work back of how we can actually make that. So this is my lesson here. So I made this in Notebook, and I just drag and drop it into this online one here. And then you can see that it just loads, and this will then be my lesson that I can then send out to students, or if I wanted to, teach in the classroom. Right, I can see that 4 or 5 people have joined. So Ben's in, thanks Ben. I can see Carlos is in, Matt's in, and someone else is in. I'll put that code back up. Matt's in, Q's in, Ingrid's in. So I've got 8 students joined so far. So hellosmart.com 50244. What code do we use? I'm just going to put it in the chat. I know it's on the board, but I'm going to put that off in a minute. 244. There we go. That code's in the chat now. I can't get in. Natalia. If you go to hellosmart.com, don't Google it. If you go to, let's open up a separate browser. This one here. So I'm just going to type in hello smart, if I can spell smart right, .com. So once you're in hellosmart.com, which looks like this, you're going to go in as students, so it should have a picture of students. If you go in as a teacher, it'll have a picture of the teacher. So I'm in as a student. If you just join as guest, and then that's the class ID. Everyone else lost sound. Has everyone else lost sound? Nope. Oh, good. Yes, a few people have lost sound. Well, hopefully it's all okay. I'm just going to put that class ID in, 50422, is that right? And then I'll ask you who to chime in with. We've got 17 in, I might just keep going. 50244. 50244. Next. And then you put a name in. I just put an L for now. And then that means that you're into the lesson there, and that's how you get in. Right, so I think enough people have joined in now. So now I've got the lesson here. Now that content is now pushed out on your device. So if I'm doing teacher paste, maybe, so if I'm sitting down to my desktop here, and I could be running this, and in the background I could have like a Teams call running, or Zoom, or other video conferencing things. A lot of them are free at the moment. I know Google's Hangouts is free at the moment, so you can use that, minimize that, and then this can be running to share your screen with this in. So you'll notice here that as I go to the next page here on my teacher copy, your student copy goes there as well. So I can be talking over my laptop to people there. And as I go down, again, this is a teacher paste one. So you've got the links there and you can send it out there. This one here, I have actually planned, as you can see, to be a self-paced one. So this self-paced one, you can send this out to the students beforehand. So because they've got it beforehand, they can, if I just change it now, at the top here, where there's a little man, I clicked on the man and I've clicked on student paste. When I click that, at the bottom of yours, you're gonna have a little pop-up. Hopefully you saw that. Now within your pop-up, that means that you've now got control of that lesson. So you can go to this page, click on that link and go and read those 3 chapters. Once you've done that, because you're still student paced, you're able to then listen to it. Obviously for different learners, it's what you want and it's just inserting a hyperlink. Because I made this in Smart Notebook, those links are already there. I'll show you how to, if you use PowerPoint, to put them in as well if you need to. Hi Mark, link is not active. Is it not active? Ah. I'll have to check that out then. Maybe we'll need to turn it into a link in a minute. I'll show you how to insert a link. Thanks for that, Quinton. No, I can't open as well. Ah, that might be my mistake. We'll have to edit that in a minute then. No problem. So this one here. Now at the moment, this is my student paced one. So like I said, the advantages of sending a smart learning suite online is not just they can see it, is they can actually ink to it as well. So if I change this one to an individual handout, we are all going to get a copy. So I clicked on the person at the top, an individual handout. I'm just going to go back to teacher paste as well. So you're all going to jump onto this one. So now your screen will say start. And I can see that Carlos, Emily, Georgia, Linda, Nikki have already clicked start. Matt has as well. So all of you here and everyone else is clicking start. So if we were doing this at home, the advantage is now that you can see at the side here, you've got some inking tools. So on top of your page here, it's not just that static content, it's now interactive. And because it's interactive, I can start inking in these and I can put my 3 interesting new words, sword, for example. And as a teacher, I could jump into, who am I going to tip on? I'm going to pick on Tom. Let's see if Tom's done any work. Oh, Tom hasn't written anything. Linda, I'm going to pick on you. So you can see Linda has put some of the stuff here, and they have commented and done those. So thanks, Linda. So it's beginning to look at those. Let's just jump into anybody else's, and I can see those as a student. So you now can see how it would work if I'd sent this out to students at home. They will be able to ink up on this. Or if I was doing this teacher paste, I could send it out to the class like I've done now, and then you can all ink in it, and I can review those and I can talk to you. In fact, if I'm just going to look at Emily's here, I know Emily's just put a scribble here, but I can actually ink back. Now I'm just inking on Emily's and on no one else's. Okay? And that is the advantage of student paste, that you can go through it and you can have that text in front of you, whether it's a large amount of text like this or some of the activities like this, like the other one. Because I've made this within Smart Learning Suite within Notebook, I've also transferring my activities, my games. So I'm going to start this up on the board here. You've also now, because I'm still on teacher paste at the top, you've got this here. And a nice bit of sound going on as well. So now you can see that because it's not a PowerPoint, what I've actually got here, I think you need to send it out as a handout. I think I did, because you were all linking on it as well. So you can actually play this game here as well. So what I'm doing is I'm taking that static content and making it a bit more fun for the children to play with, a bit more engaging, because I put this activity in as well. There are loads and loads of different activities as well that we can all look at. Right, let's just jump back to home. So you're now gonna all come out of the lesson, because I've stopped this one, because this one I was running as teacher paste. To actually send that to your students, once I put it in my Smart Learning Suite Online here, I can just drag and drop my PowerPoint, drag and drop my notebook file. If I want to send it to my students, I can actually share it from a link in here. So how I got that is I pressed the 3 dots and I clicked share link. If I click share link, this little box up here appears. So I can actually get a student access code here. What this does is create a big link. So I can copy that. Now, a lot of people are using Sims or Canvas or something like that to send out homework to students, some kind of virtual platform. With that virtual platform, you're just inserting a hyperlink. What I can do here is I've now got a hyperlink that I can insert in the same way that teachers are sending out information, whether it's a newsletter, an email, whatever it is, and then that lesson is now shared with the students. So they can all have access to that lesson, that whole one. They can go forwards and backwards at their own pace. They can play those activities. They can have those hyperlinks that I'll show you how to fix in a moment. And that can be their homework or their actual work. The content and a few games to make it a bit more interactive and a bit more fun for them and engaging to have it with as well. Will this work with Seesaw? Sending out, it's just inserting a link. So in Seesaw, you can insert a link, send it to others, and it will work like that as well, yes. Can the music be turned off? It's way too loud. Just do it on your device. Do the children need the smart link? I'm just gonna go back just to see I haven't missed it. Can we send it out? Students can access this on any device that's called web browser. You can access it on your phone, although it's a bit small, any tablet, or any laptop, whatever it is, or even a smartboard. Because it is web-based, it can be sent out. It's just on a web browser, so any internet-enabled device will be able to work on that. That's absolutely fine. Do students have to have smart on their device? No, they do not need to install anything. No app, no nothing. It's literally just a browser, and they can copy and paste that into their browser, and it just works. Hopefully, that was one there. I'm just going to jump back. I've just seen another comment. Georgia, due to the area access, I can't access timetabled lessons online, but a link to be sent to the children can just complete at their own time. Yes, that's exactly that one. That can be sent out and they can access at their own time. My son's made a few comments that he's liked the way that he's learning at the moment, because like now he can go away and play. We went out and garden only for 1 hour a week. or an hour a day. So he can do those things, but he thinks, oh, now I'm going to sit and do some homework, and he can sit and do it, whether it's an hour, half an hour, 2 hours. It's self-paced, and he's beginning to be a bit more secondary school. He's a bit more ownership on his own learning. It's his responsibility, and having that, doing that as well. So Google Classroom, yes, fully. So I was just reading that comment there about browsers. What browsers can it work? I'm using in Chrome. Smart recommends that you use Chrome as a browser. It stays up to date a little bit more than others, and it just seems to work. I don't know the technical side of it from a teacher. I would just recommend Chrome as a browser to work with it as well. I know some very, very old versions of Safari, like on iPad 1s or mini 1s, that if you're not on the latest iOS, sometimes the very, very old stuff, I mean, talking like the original iPads, they might not work too well, just because it's a very old machine with that, but most things work. Have you got examples, ideas for younger pupils as well at the beginning? Yes, I'll come to that in a bit as well. So Google Drive, I'm just aware that I'm just trying to zip through all this as well. So here's my Google Drive, and you can see this is the content that's sent in as well. If it's a PDF, I can right click on it, open with Smart Learning Suite Online. Now, if I open it in Smart Learning Suite Online, what it does is converts it from a PDF to a Smart Learning Suite Online file. And that can be sent out. You do need the plugin, the extension to be able to enable that. Google how to use Smart Learning Suite Online, or I can put the link in the chat or email me afterwards. It's a very, very simple extension, just to enable in your Google Drive. And obviously then with that as well, it works within Google Classroom. So if I was to go into my Google Classroom here, and there we are, click on my classwork. So I'm sending this out to the students. I can create an assignment. And then within that as well, you can see, you can name it and everything, but I can actually add, just prompting me to do more things. I can add from my Google Drive. You can see here, there's my Smart Learning Suite Online file. That's the distance learning, looking at Treasure Island I've got there. I can click that one. I can add it, and then that can then be sent out to the students just the same way as the normal Google Classroom as well. So it's fully integrated with that. At the moment with Teams, it's just a copy and paste the link. The full integration like this with Teams is soon. So hopefully we'll be able to work that as well from that way as well. Right, jumping back into this lesson here. So we've looked at how to push it at student pace, so they can go up and down it as well. I think we've done enough in the lesson itself. Let's look at the creation side of it. So if I want to edit that lesson, again, I've got those 3 dots there, and I can edit that one. So when you first import a PowerPoint or a notebook file or slides, I'm losing Lee, please could you email details? Yes, I will do. This one here. So you can see this is the flow of my lesson that I've got down here. And then within that one, Quinton, here's your question answered. This one here, I can add different things to it. So I can add text, and that's where I can put those in. And if I add pictures here as well, that's where I can copy and paste and put the link there. So if it hasn't taken it across, which it looks like it hasn't this time, I could copy and paste it into that side column there. And that is where I can insert my hyperlinks from that as well as adding images. So it's that basic editing tool. Smart Learning Suite Online is brilliant for sending this content out to the students. The creation of it all, I would still look to do in Smart Notebook or indeed PowerPoint. And then within that as well, if I want to add activities, if I click at the bottom down here, there was a box, and then I've got lots of pre-made content as well. Adding a YouTube video. So you're not just saying, go to YouTube and watch this, which is obviously including adverts, and it's very tempted for the children to then watch the next one, watch the next one, watch the next one. All of a sudden, they're back into their own playlist rather than your playlist, and you've lost that focus of the homework. With inserting YouTube video, it will just be, it'll be just be that video, and it will stop playing at the end of that one, and that's really, really useful. As well as adding lots of resources like here, and there's all of these games are inside that as well. This, I'm not going to go into detail about all of these games. They are brilliant. This is the fill in the blanks here. If you click on the little preview, it will show you more about that. It is a matter of a bit of having a play and seeing which games suit you, but there should be, think of the task, what you want to do, and the game should fit that task, whether it's a matching up, a flip cards, label reveal, some monster quizzes, rank order, and there's lots of stuff like that as well. Have a look on Smart's Facebook page. There's lots of stuff running that goes through this in a bit more detail as well. Obviously, feel free to email me, ask questions as well. Have a look at, again, I'll send out some more links that are useful for this as well. One thing I would say to go for is to look at this page here. This page here is our Smart's Distance Learning with Smart, and it does go through everything in detail. The web address, I'm going to type this in the box for you, is go.smarttech.com/distance learning. And that web link there will take you to this one, and there's loads of resources. There's self-paced for some examples of how to do it. There's teacher-paced how to do it, and there's lots of this. Unfortunately, fortunately, depending where you're from, this was done with some colleagues in North America, so it's still kindergarten and secondary, and it's their level, their grades as opposed to ours. But have a look through that as well. There's some lots of stuff, as well as at the top here, there's some resources, and that will take you to the Smart Exchange where there's loads of content for you to already. I'm just going to jump back to the chat. Somebody mentioned Ingrid, P to 1 to 4. There'll be loads of resources in the Smart Exchange. Go and have a look at there. You can filter by age groups, and there's lots of stuff in there. How to use digital manipulatives with online, and they can actually drag and drop counters. And because they are objects, they can actually move those and have some counting, or inserting web links to other sites as well. How you want to do it, or whether it's just a counting, sorting bees into flowers, like put 5 here, put 6 there. Sorry, 5 here, 5 there, or 4 there, 3 there. Oh, I can't do number ones at the moment. 7 there, 3 there. So it's sorting whichever way you want. So that was a really bad example. I'm a little bit tongue-tied with that. We've done Google Classroom, able to watch this webinar back at the later stage. Yes, so this webinar here, what I'll do this afternoon is I'll post this onto Smart Ed to Ed YouTube channel. If you just Smart Ed to Ed, Ready, Set, Smart UK, you'll get a link to this webinar, and it'll be there for you to watch as well. So that's brilliant for that one. Are there resources counting for accounting level 2? So the resources, as you can see with, if I just jump back into this one here, that one, the resources are essentially, if anyone was to sit down and make resources for every single pupil, because obviously it's them that we're trying to address, we'd be here forever and you probably wouldn't find it. So what we've done is to make it a very simple here. So it might be that you put a graph in the background. I'm no accountant, I'm afraid, that you have labeling, this is what happens here, this is what happens here, this is what happens here. And you can add a JPEG in the background and put those labels there. It might be that you're ordering accounting, maybe say it's the gross annual income of these people, these countries, which one do you think is in order from highest to lowest? Read this text, order them here. That could be done with that. Again, I'm really sad if that, sorry if that's a bad example for your accounting. But there's lots of things here, match them up. A picture of the country with the currencies. I don't know what it is. So it's something like this, but you're matching those games up to be with that. So it's, the content is up to the teacher, because the teachers know that know the students better than anyone else. But that's an example there, or as a sorting, quizzes galore. Have a look, they're great. I'm aware that I'm wanting to, I think we might pause there if there are any other questions. So hopefully with that there, I've given you a bit of an insight of how to use your existing content to put it in Smart Notebook. Sorry, to put it in Smart Learning Suite Online. Hopefully we've seen a little bit of how it could be teacher paced or it could be student paced by copying the link, sending it to everybody else as well. The way to do it is teacher paced, that's one I didn't look at, is that you would say, come to this code at this certain time. So I'm going to do another webinar next week, which looks at like a morning meeting, just a group work. So you'd say to your class at 9 o'clock every morning, I'm going to be online for 10 minutes. Let's come and play some games together. And at that time, they would all log in like you've just done now with the code. They would join you, have the code. They could join in, play some games together. They could talk to each other. And that would be student-paced where they're all collaboratively together, as opposed to the student pace where you sent out the code. You can record, yes, that's a really good point that you've made there, Tom. Thanks very much. Within Smart Notebook, you can record audio. So at the bottom down here, you've got a little blue and white circle. If you click on that, you've got a lesson recorder. That can record your whole screen. So once you've recorded the screen, you can then save it as a movie file, upload it to Google Drive or wherever you are sending the content out, and then the children can see what you've done on the screen as well if you're not using a videoing conferencing software. So that's a really good point as well. If you're not sure how to use that, email me or have a look for online. Smart Support YouTube channel has got some really good stuff on there as well. Right, so hopefully I've addressed some of those needs there. I'm going to do another webinar, as I said, next week. I'm going to be doing little ones based on trying to get people together. And then the following week, we're going to do another big one like this, where we're going to look at a huge amount of detail on something. So what I urge you to do is to share. In this time here, it's great that I can go on social and see this person's doing that, that person's doing that, and they're all great and we're using those resources. I've stolen some for today's as well. Feel free to email me about it or tweet me directly. If you want to go for Smart themselves, that's even better. If you use the hashtag Smart Champion, then you can kind of scroll back and see what everybody else has done as well. And those are the smart things for the main Smart channels. So I know I've answered quite a bit of your questions during it. So please feel free. I'm going to hang around for the next 5 minutes and put some more in the chat as well. And I'll answer those as we go. But if not, thank you so much for joining us. That's been absolutely brilliant. And hopefully you've got a bit of more of an idea, a bit more of a support on distance learning and how Smart can support that. And of course, if you do want me to run a bespoke training session for your staff and invite them to come to the session like this, then I can facilitate that as well. That's not a problem at all. So obviously that bespoke training package is available. And obviously if I'm not here and when this all calms down, I'm able to come out to your school and give that support as well and actually give professional development to your staff across the whole year, or a training package that supports the needs of you. So I shall leave you with, I'll leave that slide up there as well, just to kind of encourage the odd question. So thank you so much for joining us. Oh yeah, I did in the 340 session. Yes, it's exactly a repeat. A 340 session, I'm going to say exactly the same things in a very similar order, and we'll go off at tangents like we've done today as well. So if you want to join in and listen to it again, or share it with colleagues and invite them to come as well, that would be a fantastic. Or if you just got a burning question you want to put and you can't remember now, then come back at 340. But yes, it's going to be a very similar session. So again, yes, thank you very much everybody for joining us. It's been brilliant to see you all here. And yes, group of us together for bespoke training. Okay, Ingrid, if you want to email me directly or put your email address in the chat. I've got your email address anyway. I'll go through these notes and I'll email you this afternoon as well, Ingrid. So thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. I'm glad you found it informative, Ben. You're welcome, Carlos. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for logging in as well. I'm glad you found it helpful. Rajit, can you send me the notes? Yes, of course I will. I'll put them on the YouTube channel. That's probably the easiest way. Or email that to everyone. We'll see. Still got 10 of us here. So you're still either just faffing in the background, trying to make a cup of coffee, or you're actually listening and thinking of typing some notes. So I'll stay around. I'm going to get a glass of water after talking for that long. Awesome. Right, well, I'm going to jump off then, and thank you very much for joining us. And feel free to email me any questions, and I'll support you as I can. Thank you very much. Bye. I can hear you. If you've got any questions during this as well, this is very much live online training for you. How can I help you? So feel free to put as many as you can in the chat, and I'll see if I can go on as many different tangents as I possibly can to help you. Or failing that, I'll just talk at the camera and we'll go through these 20 minutes and stop. But brilliant. Hello. Thank you for doing this. More than welcome. I can't come out to schools and do training sessions for the teachers. So this is the next best thing that I can help and support you guys in the role that you are doing, whatever that might be these days. So thank you for joining us, really. So this is live online training. I've done these bi-weekly. They're all on YouTube. I'll send you a link to the rest of it as well. You'll get a follow-up email tomorrow with all that as well. So feel free to go back and watch the next ones or be in touch and be connected together with this as well. So just a bit of a background of me. I am, oh, if I actually click on it. I am Mark Hartright. I'm a professional development specialist for Smart in the UK. I've been a teacher for 11 years, did primary school, absolutely loved it. But my passion lay with the smart technology, hardware, software, and how it really supported the children in their learning, really got them engaged, and it really supported me as a teacher as well. And that's kind of where it's brought me here today. So any other questions, like I said at the beginning, please feel free to ask me, and I'll do the best I can to answer that. My email address is there. Obviously, you've got it when you registered as well, or on social as well, at Mark Hartright. I try to make it nice and simple. Or Smart, and there's a Smart UK one as well to try and connect people in the UK, Smart UK Connect, or the hashtag Smart Champion, and we'll just see some fantastic stuff out there. Right, so distance learning, hot topic at the moment for obvious reasons. So I've got those up there as well, if you can see those, just to help you. Objectives for this afternoon, what are we going to try and look at in this session here? Really to utilise our existing content. I know that many teachers have kind of planned for this term already. It's already ready to go, and it's like, no, I can't deliver it. What am I going to do with it next? So hopefully you're not going to spend another ages recreating content to try and send it out, that you can just tweak it to send out to your students, or tweak it to deliver to your students, however way that is. And we'll look at different ways of doing that, or through using the software SLSO, Smart Learning Suite Online, an online platform. And it can, the way if you want to do teacher or student-paced learning, which is obviously really, really key at the moment. Right, and that, as I said, is going to be done through Smart Learning Suite Online. So I'm now just going to jump to a browser. So this really is here, a web browser. So whatever device you or your students are working on, it is a web browser, and it can work with them. We'd recommend Chrome. Sometimes with other browsers, it doesn't work quite so well. Being a teacher, not a techie guy, I'm not entirely sure. There's probably some guidance and stuff online. And if you really want to know, email me and I'll point you in the right direction. But I'd recommend Chrome because it just works well in that one. That was the line I heard, and that's the line I'm passing on to you. So Chrome. This one here is Smart Learning Suite Online. Within Smart Learning Suite Online, it gives you the ability to almost like drag and drop your lesson in here. And then that can be sent out to the students, either for teacher-led, if you're doing it one-to-one, or you can create a code and just send them the whole lesson. So if I'm starting with my pre-made content, so here is I've got a lesson all prepared. And this is just a PowerPoint file. You can see that, I mean, a lot of us have got PowerPoint presentations that we send out to everybody. I mean, my son at the moment, he said, here's a PowerPoint, read it, here's a question, and then write this bit, take a picture of it, and send it to me. That's his homework. That's how he's kind of learning this week. And I think that's, looking on social media, that's a very common trend that's kind of happening across. So whether it be, you've kind of got web links, here's how to read to a chapter, here's how to listen to a chapter, and then they come to an activity, and then within that activity, you've just 3 things you like, 3 interesting things, some feedback on what you've read. Fine, great PowerPoint presentation. There's obviously loads of stuff online that you can download and just send out to the students as well, and that's really, really good. What I would say is, when I was creating this one, I did it within Smart Notebook. The difference between Smart Notebook and PowerPoint or slides or something like that is Smart Notebook is designed to be a teaching and learning bit of software. So obviously when you're in the classroom, it's got lots of bells and whistles. That's fantastic to actually aid the delivery of that. But obviously we're not in a place where we're in the classroom much of the time, unless you've got some kind of videoing kit that's supporting you for that as well. But in the very much way that you can go down, you've got your web links, which obviously appear in here. And then those tasks like that can appear in there. So however you are making that content, how are we going to put that in front of students? It's sometimes a bit too much of an ask for them to say to download PowerPoint. It's not agnostic device-wise, or they can't download Smart Notebook for whatever reason like that. The easiest way I find is just literally dump it in the cloud, give them a link, off you go. So that's the way we're going to try and do it now. So what I've done, you can see that I've taken that PowerPoint presentation, that notebook power presentation, and I've added it here. So import resource, notebook, PowerPoint, PDF, slides, those can just be imported into here. I've done that beforehand, bit of a Blue Peter moment, and then this one's the slide here. So I'm just going to click start on this one here, and this lesson is now going to be sent out to you guys. So we're going to do a kind of a teacher-led and jump in the student-led, all that sort of side of things. So if you can go to a web browser, some of you might already be up there as well. I've just put the link in the show notes. Show notes, that sounds awfully posh. The chat, and here it is. So if you go to hellosmart.com, it'll ask you to go in as a guest. Once you're in a guest, you type in that code there. And let's see who's in from this one. So I've got Alex, you're in, thank you. Andreas is in, Angel's in, and Natalia in as well. Oh, Olivia's joined us. Hello, Olivia, and Sarah has as well. And Spyrus, thank you very much for joining us. Apologies if I said your name wrong. So let's get a few more people joined. Sarah, thanks for joining us. Excellent, you're in as well. Give everyone another moment to see if we can get more people joined in. Lynn's in, awesome. If you're having trouble joining for any reason, just put some notes in the chat and I can walk through that process. But as we've got, how many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's roughly about 2/3 of us in. So I presume some of us are joining, some of us just are not. I'm not joining. So we'll leave it there. We've got a few more joined as well. Excellent. Right, so you can see that this is my lesson. The one exactly the same that I created in PowerPoint, one I created in Notebook, dragged and dropped, put it on the Smart Learning Suite online. The way you just came in there, you came in as a student. At the top corner there was saying sign in as teacher. You just sign in as teacher using your Google email address or your Microsoft email address, the one that you just use for school as well. Can't remember login. There it is, Helen, hellosmart.com. The number is 50244. Hopefully you've got that there. And hopefully you can see that. If you can't, tap in again. So that's there. And now you can see as a teacher paced one, as I change my slide here, yours changes. So now I'm 100% confident that you are now looking at the same slide here and you've got that title saying self-paced. Now, because this is a self-paced lesson, I'm going to actually change it to a self-paced lesson. So at the top here, I've got a little people. And in there, I'm going to click on student. When I do that, you're going to have a little pop-up in the side of your window. Pop. And that pop-up means that you can go forwards and backwards within the Smart Learning Suite online file. So if you wanted to go back to the previous slide, or if you wanted to now toggle, go through to the next one, you can see these web links are here, or the listening one, or this one here. Now, this one is where I want you to collaborate together. So let's pretend that you've read those. You all know all about Treasure Island now, and now I'm going to test you on it, chapter 1. Should have done your homework. I think I can see everyone else has joined as well, so that's brilliant. So I'm just going to get all your eyes on me, just so you can see this one here. So I'm going to click back to teacher mode, and now you're all back on this slide here. Those that have wandered on, those that have done that, brilliant. So you're now all back on this slide here. Awesome. But at the moment, we can't annotate on this. So again, it's just that static content, the same as the notebook, the same as the PowerPoint. What I'd like to do now is to give this document to you and make it your file to you to annotate on. To do that, I'm going to click on individual handouts. It then changes that static content into an interactive content on here. And I can see that Lynn has pressed start already. So thanks, Lynn. That was a great cue up for you. And now it's going to ask all of you to do that. I can see a few more have. Sarah, Jake, all of you as well. Spyrus is in twice. Brilliant. So Sarah, Jake, Helen, Blanca. Oh, hi, Blanca. I haven't said hello to you yet, so thanks. O is in. Leanne's in. Someone else has been. So you all now clicking start. At the bottom here, I've got my teacher handout. So this now, if you were doing it teacher pace, or if you are modeling to your class, this is where your modeling is. At the side here, you can see I can add annotations. You might have already discovered that yourself. You can start writing an interesting word, word. Okay, so I've written that stuff in there. You can type it in, you can add images in, blah, 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 however way you want to do that as well, that can be in there. Now, as a teacher, at the top here, I can now jump into, I'm going to jump into Mark's. So this is Mark's file, and this is what he is inking on, real time, and he has done nothing. Thanks, Mark, brilliant. So let's jump into who was first in. Lynn was first in, see if she's done anything. See what inking has done. Who am I going to pick on next? Has Lynn done anything? Nope. This is going well. Blanca, I'm going to pick on you, so you best have done something. Yes, Blanca's written a scribble. Excellent. Now, maybe I'd like to annotate that and say, what on earth is this with a red pen? I could say, please look at the 3 words here. So now I'm just annotating in Blanca's work. I've changed that static content to interactive, and now we're all doing it with there. And I could jump into anybody else's, and we could see that as well. Let's just pick on one more, Angel. Let's see if she's done anything. Yay, hi. I'm just going to write hello back just because I'm childish. Or polite, depending on which way you want to look at it. Oh, she's written typed hello as well. So you've got type and you've got thing that as well. Brilliant, thanks. That was the best one so far. So, but all of that is then, they've done the work, they've read it, and there's the reflection. So it's not then taking a picture of their work and sending it in. It's actually doing the work on the computer, make an interactive resource that then the teacher can mark. I'm just going to go back to, I'm going to put you onto the next slide as well. So it might be that you're having a whole piece of text like this, but this time I want everyone to put an input in this one. So I'm going back to that little people at the top there. And then at the bottom here, the last time I did an individual handout, this time I'm going to do a collaborative workspace. So in this collaborative workspace, I'm now going to put all of you writing on one piece of paper. I could put you in teams, but this time I'm going to put everyone all together just for the purpose of today so we can see this. Obviously, this works well for a teacher-led activity. When you're all joining together, the whole purpose of you coming together for a lesson is to be collaborative, is to work together. It might be that you're, carry on annotating in the background, you'll see it up there. It might be that you're having them come together at 9 o'clock in the morning, however way you want to organize that. And that whole point of coming together is that social element. This here, you can see my video conferencing platform. I'm using Zoom. You could use Teams, you could use Google Hangouts. A lot of people like that are offering those free as well. Smart are offering this software free at the moment as well. You normally get a free 45-day trial, but we have extended that at the moment, obviously, for the current situation going on. Hey, I wonder who put that one in there. So yes, you can add images, you can add, people can move this around. We are working on that workspace together. This works brilliantly for group work, because you can see everybody's, you know, really working together to do this. I know in Zoom, there is ability to split into groups and actually talk amongst groups within that video and conferencing platform, but it's how you want to do it. And you can see, you can add images, you can add text, you can even add topical ones as well. Brilliant. But this is great for teacher-led instruction, as opposed to the collaborative space obviously wouldn't quite work if everyone's doing it individually. But that's just how you kind of do that in that there. So also within Smart Learning Suite Online, the difference between then sending this out to a PowerPoint is actually you can add interactive activities as well. Ones like this, but I'm just going to jump you all onto page 9, and I'm going to start this one here, and then you can click start and play it as well. So obviously I can model this, and I can try and put these in the right place up here. First chapter of Treasure Island. It'll mark it for itself, but again, this is just a fun game. It's more engagement within the text. Have I read it? Obviously, the first time I did it, I clearly hadn't, but it's a fill in the blanks activity. A bit more interaction, a bit more engagement for the students, rather than just say, read this, do this, write on a piece of paper, which sometimes isn't the greatest way that children want to be, want to learn, and it just helps the engagement. I know I've said that a lot, but it really is. Right, I am going to, I'm just chilled on the music there. Where am I going to go? I'm going to go home. So it's all going to stop the game for you. Now this one here, you can see that one, I was running an example of a teacher-led. I started the activity here, then you play along with it, teacher-led. So like I said, we could schedule a time, you all join in, and you can all do that stuff together. The other way of doing it would be as a student-led. So a student-led, what I've got to do is I've got to give the activity to the student. And this one here, if I click on the 3 dots there, I can see there's a shared link. And if I click on that share link, I can share it with a teacher, so obviously they can get a copy of this file as well. Or if I click on a student, get student access, it's going to create this link for me here that I can copy, and then I can share with them. I know a lot of teachers at the moment are posting links to hyperlinks. Here's this, go and look at that. Here's that, go and look at that. Or wherever it is, they've uploaded it to their OneDrive, and there's a link to open up that folder with their notes with their lesson in. This works exactly the same, but as opposed to opening up a folder or something, a PDF, a static piece of content, this then opens up that interactive content that can be that will be student paced, and they can access as and when they do. So that is in there, and that is absolutely fantastic way of doing it. Obviously, you can copy and paste that into anything. It's just a link. If you copy and paste it into, it could be into a Teams, it could be into Google. I'll go into Google in a bit more detail, into Canvas, into Sims, into Seesaw, however way you are sharing that information with students. That is all available in there. So that's the sharing of the lesson there. If I do want to actually make that content better, I can actually edit it. So here is my lesson. You can see it was the same as that PDF or the notebook, where this is my slide. These are my slides here. I can actually edit that game here. I can add that text here, wherever it is. I can add in text. I can move these around. If I wanted to add in more images, I can do that there. I can add in hyperlinks up there as well, and they will then obviously be live on that as well. Obviously, feel free to put any questions in the chat or any comments. Don't have to be all me to you, so feel free to do that. Or don't. I can just carry on talking. I don't mind. So that's there as well. I'm just going to finish editing that one there. Ooh, not completely. So there, edit it there. So I put that game about fill in the blanks. There's loads of other activities built into Smart Learning Suite Online, and they're available through this blue little cross at the bottom there. So if I click on that, this box appears here. Now, the first thing that grabs my eyes is the YouTube channel. Yes, my daughter is 8, and yes, she has been sitting on YouTube for more than usual, shall we say, for this week. So YouTube's on there as well. And if I click on that, I can just import my YouTube video. whatever that might be. But the good thing about it is that it just plays the video. It doesn't start playing the next one over and over again. It doesn't put the adverts in as well. So that's a really, really good saying, keep you on task, keep you looking at the content, but obviously YouTube is a fantastic resource and that can be linked in as well. If you're doing teacher-led activities, Shout It Out is amazing. The way that students can just send up their answers straight up into your file and they can be displayed up on the board like that as well. Lots of different activities are in this one at the side here, game activities, and there's loads of them. So there's a fill in the blanks. I'm just going to click on that preview button. You can read a label reveal. So this is more of the worksheet where it's a clickable link. I was doing history with my son yesterday, and we were looking at parts of Russia and a timeline. So it could have been an interactive timeline where it's just clicking on a box. What happened in this year? What happened in this year? What happened in this year? Very, very easy to make. Drag and drop a JPEG and just put your own ones in. I will say put your own ones in because it's very much based on the content needs to be right for your children. So that is smart. Yes, we've got Smart Exchange, and just Google Smart Exchange. There's loads of stuff on it and it's really, really good. But the content that you need for your children for that particular day whilst doing distance learning may not be up there. So to be able to make that is really, really quick and easy by just being able to add a JPEG to that and then put the hotspots of where you want those clickable links to do that as well. There you just drag and drop one in there. So just going to discard that and just kind of see what other activities on there. Conscious of time, I'm not going to take too much of your time. This is very much just have a play, have a look at it. Secondary, primary, whatever your focus is, there's this one here, you can change the background as well, but it's a sorting activity. These go here, these go here. Names of muscles, names of ligaments, they can be put in here and that can be sorted in that one as an example. And some of those are very much based on what would be good for a student paste and some would be very good for a teacher paste. But again, have a bit of a play and see which ones are on there. You're welcome. I just had a note in the chat, so rather than just saying welcome. So those are the links in there. Finished editing, and then that lesson is then ready to be sent out to everybody else as well. If you are using Google, particularly Google Classroom, it is fully integrated with that as well. So this is just now jumping into my G drive. Forgot the name of it then, completely blank. And you can see these here are my lessons. It might be a PDF lesson. So if it is a PDF, I can click and hold, right click, where's it gone? Here we are, open with Smart Learning Suite Online. So for me, I can just then start teaching from my Smart Learning Suite Online account straight within my Google Drive. I don't need to go through the smart way in. To get that there, you do need to, there's like an add-on or an extension that needs to be enabled. If you're not sure how to do that, Google Smart Tech Learning Suite Online connecting the app to Google Suite, and it's really, really easy to do. If not, email me and I'll send you a link to that video anyway. So that's really good on there. And then you can see some that I've already converted to Smart Learning Suite Online files. Obviously, if I open those, I can open them straight from my Google Drive. If I click up here and go into my Google Classroom, my Google Classroom is here and chugging away. That's everyone in Europe streaming Netflix. In my Google Classroom, I can see in a moment, it'll have my classroom up on there, and then I can send an assignment. Here we are. And then as I set that assignment, it will be, there we are, Google Classroom, click, classwork. I'm going to create an assignment. And when I create my assignments, I'm going to push it out to my students within my class. I can add from my Google Drive, and you can see here, this is the content I've got. Hey presto, there is my Treasure Island distance learning lesson that can be attached and sent out to classwork. So it's quick and easy to everybody else. Can you please send us the, yes, Blanca, I will send the recording to this. Everyone that is joined today, you will get an email tomorrow saying, here's where the YouTube video is, that you can watch it as well. So yes, no problem at all. So that's the Google Drive integration as well, and that works brilliantly as well. It's not that integrated with Teams yet. You can post the link in Teams. The full integration of doing it completely in that way, that's on its way and should be here really soon. So that's there as well. You're welcome, Sarah. What I will point us to as well is this website. Now, this website has obviously been worked on a lot recently. It massively focuses on self-paced learning as well as teacher-led learning. And within that, there's some really good examples of how to run through and how to do it as well. I will say that this was made by Smart, who's mainly based, our headquarters in Calgary. Obviously, we feed a lot into the American system as well. And just by the size of the country, we've got a lot more people working over there. So they have done this with the names of like kindergarten, K2, 3, 5. So apologies on that side, but the content is there and the content is brilliant. So you can look through that as well. So that's the stuff there, as well as accessing if you want to get a free version of this as well. Webinar, the resources up there as well. It's a massive, massive website, and there's some really good training links in that as well to have a look for. And I'll put, again, the email that I'm sending out to you all tomorrow will have the link to that in as well. I will write it in the notes here, just in case you want to have a look before. go.smarttech.com, forgot my own website then, .com/distance learning. Distance learning, nearly put a typo in that as well. So that is there for you to look at as well. So let's jump back onto that one, jump back onto this one. So hopefully in that kind of 20-minute slot, I have given you some idea to say that use your content, but how can we still make it fun? How can we still make it engaging for the students? Because we all know that when the students are having fun and they're engaged, they're going to learn more. And that hopefully I can show you how Smart have got a really good, if I may say so myself, a really good supportive way to look at that as well with Smart Learning Suite Online. And that supports the teacher-led and the student-led learning. There are loads of webinars going on Facebook at the moment. We're going live every day at the moment to share those lessons in there. I'm going to be doing some more webinars for Smart. I think that's going to go through, I'll post it on the same channel, but it's going to go through the Facebook page as well. It's a really good place to go to look at, as well as there's a Twitter chat happening tonight as well. #SmartChat, just have a look at that as well. But it's very much designed of how can we support you doing teacher-led learning? How can we support you doing student-paced learning? Because that's obviously what we're faced with at the moment. People like me working at home, trying to speak to and how I'm trying to have to train people. So hopefully I've covered those and support you with that. As a challenge for this week, really is just to share. You are doing some great stuff. Whatever you're happening at the moment, we're all struck with a new challenge that we didn't expect, and something that we certainly didn't look for when I went to training either. But share it, share good practice, learn from everybody else. However cheesy it sounds, the better together hashtag I think is brilliant, and it really is a good one at the moment. And share to me as well. I'd love to know more about it as well. So email me markhartright@smarttech.com, or obviously feel free to tweet me at markhartright as well, or Smart UK Connect, or the main smart_tech as well. If you're not a massive Twitter fan, or on other social media as well, so it's Facebook, Instagram, just search for Smart Tech and we'll be there to support you wherever your needs are with that as well. So just before I jump to some questions, I'm just going to say that was our distance learning webinar. I've also had one inquiry this afternoon about trying to do one of these bespoke for their school, and that is absolutely brilliant. As I said, my job is going around to training staff, but I am stuck in these four walls, apart from my one walk a day. And that is to try and support you, to try and support the teachers as we look to students, whether that's running a whole lesson for your students or running a training session to support you as teachers as moving forward as well. So bespoke packages, I can work with you and support you for that as well. So I'm going to bring to a close there. I'm going to hang around looking at the chat for another 5-10 minutes. So if there are any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat box, or feel free to run away and hide, or feel free to email me afterwards as well. So thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for your participation as well. And I'll be back in a couple of weeks for another webinar like this, or we're back on Facebook for more webinars next week, or on email or Twitter. So thank you very much. Yes, Angel, have a lovely evening to you as well. And thank you very much for joining us. You're welcome, Jake. You stay safe as well, obviously. I would shake your hand, but you know, luckily we're through a camera. You're welcome, Mark. Anytime. Do we not the next topic? The next topic, because of the current situation, I'm not 100% sure what it's going to be. I know it's going to be something around distance learning. I want to keep my ear on social at the moment and seeing what will be useful in 2 weeks' time. This was supposed to be a maths one, which obviously is not the most useful one at the moment. So in 2 weeks' time, we'll have another question as well. Did you see my question, Mark? I'm going to say no, Blanca, because I couldn't hear it there. Good to hear. Blanca's question. Is SLSO free at the moment? Smart Learning Suite Online is free at the moment. Smart Learning Suite is free at the moment. On that distance learning page there, you can create a free Smart Learning Suite Online account. That is, as I said, it's normally available for 45 days for free, just for a trial, but we have extended that until the summer at the moment, just obviously to support you guys there as well. So yes, it is free. Please take advantage of it. Have a play with it. It is brilliant. I'm not just being biased. That's because I talk with it, and that's the reason why I'm here, because I think it's great. Slight monologue there. So great. Have you got any more free training, more in depth? There, I would say have a look online. Smart Support is a really good YouTube channel, and they've got lots of stuff going into details about how to do all these different sections on that as well. I'm trying to give everyone a quick introduction on this video rather than in depth. If you do want me to have a more in-depth session with you or with your staff, please just ask. We can set up a call next week or tomorrow, and I can just chat one-on-one with you and answer any of the questions and go in depth with that as well, or with more of your staff. So yes, is the short answer.